Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from Group 5. So today our group going to present about the National COVID-19 Immunization Program, which to the issues that the existence of anti-vaccines. So for the first, we are going to brief a little bit about the introduction. For introduction, we know that the National COVID-19 Immunization Program (PICK) in Malaysia is the largest vaccination program implemented by the Malaysian government. The purpose this program is to curb the spread of coronavirus, which is COVID-19, and to end the respiratory disease pandemic in Malaysia when it successfully achieved by group immunity. The National COVID-19 Immunization Program have several outlines and policies and strategy for procurements of vaccine suppliers, administrative implementation, and monitoring to curb COVID-19 outbreaks in the country. The COVID-19 vaccination is voluntary and will be given free of charge to all Malaysian citizens and non-citizens. The age limit is 18 years and above. This matter will be reviewed from time to time. The government approach is to ensure that at least 18% of the Malaysian of the population receive the vaccine by February 2022 to reduce the spread of the COVID-19 virus. For a vaccine that requires 2 doses, each person would get a vaccine of the same types, and the length of time to receive the second vaccine depends on the type of vaccines. The vaccination strategies and target group. The first strategy of vaccinating is to frontliner workers, especially health workers, to ensure this group is protected from COVID-19 infection. This is to ensure that the health sector operates at an optimal level. The second strategy is to reduce the disease burden on high-risk group to be protected from COVID-19 infection. This in turn can reduce the public health burden of the Malaysia system. A third strategy for epidemic control, vaccination will be conducted throughout phase 2 and 3 in high-risk group areas that through risk assessment to control disease transmissions. As we know, the COVID-19 Vaccine Supply Assurance Special Committee (CKJAV) has implemented the National COVID-19 Immunization Program. However, there have been various negative speculation related to the administration of the vaccine. This is due to the existence of an anti-vaccine group that spread a virus myths related to vaccine spread in the general public on social media. Based on this issue, we can relate with the elite theory because we know that elite theory refers to a group of people who exist in a society and occupy a high position. It can be defined as a group of people who live in a particular field and especially the minorities who hold power. According to Harold Laswell, the elite is a group of power holders in the political system and the governing body of country. Elite theory also explained that public policy is choice and value the powerful of elites. This theory also describes people as indifferent for which they are not very aware of complete information about public policy. The people do not care and not interested in knowing what the government is doing. On the other hand, the people abide by the decision made and implemented by the government if it's not burdensome and that's good for them. So based on the issue, we can see that in the political system of a country, the influence of elite group is enormous. They are able to shape the view and opinion of many parties related to the policy. To implement the policy, the political elite will give instruction to the administrator, which is bureaucrats. So public policy is not based on the demands of the people, but it's more to the interest of the elite themselves to remain in power. Basically, to regain the people trust about this vaccination programs, the responsible parties such as KKM, CKJAV, PBT, and also a government itself need to play a role to ensure that the people are not deceived by the myths made by the anti-vaccine group.
Continue the presentation about benefits or advantages of elite theory. Every policy done to get the attention of the elite group. Currently, the government launched national vaccination programs and is working to ensure that the people get their injection of the COVID-19 vaccines. There are several benefits or advantages the elite groups do support vaccination program from the government. Firstly, the dissemination of accurate information that makes the community confident with vaccination. When elite group have power to make the decision, it can have a huge impact on others. We can see that it is difficult for the government to control this because the people are not given the exposure and the benefits of vaccination. The community needs guidance from the government unless there is a group that is trying to convince the community to take vaccines. The secondly is public perception are not distorted about the ingredient found in vaccination and the view of experts on vaccines. Uh, we can see now the registration of people for the vaccines is low, and uh, the government needs to increase efforts uh, uh, to get more people to register. Without support from elite groups, uh, it is difficult for the government in its efforts to combat the COVID-19 pandemics. As an elite groups, they are the ones who can change all the decision made. So it is not impossible, that this group will be directly involved in promoting policies and programs implemented by the government. The next is to avoid the existence of egoistic and selfish social attitude in society. Also, abuse of idea from the elites group can provide benefits to the government. It aims to address a problem or solve an issue arise in society. Uh, Therefore, public policy is implemented to achieve unity and racial integration in the economy, social, and development. In addition, this elite support for the implementation of public policy, whether in the form of protection as a relationship with policymakers, such as the government when the country is facing COVID-19. The lastly is elites group become the evaluator of the policy made by the government based on the situation. For example, the Minister of Health and with collaboration, Minister of Science, Technology and Innovation implement the national vaccination program. Therefore, this support is obtained from the political elites, which also consists of the administrative and legislative bodies. In addition, the implementation of this program was successful because the government received support to continue the program in curbing the spreads of COVID-19 pandemic. I will pass the presentation to my friends. That's all for me. Thank you.
There is several limitations or disadvantages of this theory. First, it shows that the public policy only symbolize the choice and the wills of the elite, and it is not the will of the citizens. And second, is being too oversimplified, as it is expected that all societies are comparable. In any case, countries are distinctive all over the world. And third is wrongly support the view that the protest of vote-based system is not the welfare and improvements of the individuals, and is also wrongly considers inequality as the foundations of the society, when actually no one is undoubtedly more competent and more omniscient than the others. And lastly, there is also there are too much of conceptions on the force that cause public policy. Professional politicians, for example, stand for the critical point of enforcement of elite preference.
Hello everybody, my name is Bima Danwira, and I am here at this time going to share the issue that our team takes. Our topic relates about vaccination program, more precisely the low level of public trust toward the vaccination program. So, what vaccination program and why we need it? According to Prime Minister, vaccination program existed due to the disease which is COVID-19. Since COVID-19 takes more than 100 million souls are taken. Malaysian government also take COVID-19 as a serious problem. In order to get the vaccination, there is no cost of money. It will deliver freely to every human being in Malaysia. Vaccination program exists as a strategy to save humanity from the death, which is the death caused by the COVID-19. However, behind that, Malaysian government also hope it can recover the unstable economy. Vaccination program is delivered for every human being despite of the nationality. It means whether you are a Malaysian citizen or not, as long as you are inside the territorial of the Malaysian government, you will get the service of the vaccination program freely. There are two ministries actively involved in finding the best solution in curing the COVID-19. There are Ministry of Health and Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovation. The combination of those two ministries produce one special unit which focuses on dealing the corona pandemic. The name of special unit called as Jawatan Kuasa Kas Jaminan Akses Bekalan COVID-19. Last but not least, where Malaysian government implement the vaccination program, Malaysian government do not forget the legal basis of the action. Vaccination program is supported by the law number 366 on which concern on Akta Racun 1952, and then law number 368 which concern on Akta Jualan Dadah 1952, and law number 342 which concern on Akta Pencegahan dan Pengendalian Penyakit Berjangkit, and the last is peraturan-peraturan kawalan dadah dan domestik 1984. Okay, so we are at the main topic of the issue, which is the low level of the public trust toward vaccination program in Malaysia. At the beginning, I will explain the background of the topic. Vaccination in Malaysia is started at February 24, 2021, which in that time, 66% of citizens agree and willing to accept the vaccination, while 17% of citizens are skeptical, which inside of the 17%, there are 70% of them think that vaccine isn't safe for them, and the rest of them disagree on vaccination policy in Malaysia. According to Dr. Megat Muhammad Amir Anzar at the World Health Organization, there are 5 factors that emerge the decrease of trust toward vaccination program on COVID-19. First is too much inaccurate information existed in social media. What it means? Social media can help citizens to receive information. However, not every information that are received by the citizen are correct. Some of them are inaccurate information. In other words, it is not valid. The information can be just a form of hate speech, which influence others to do the same thing. Before social media existed, misconception about vaccine is existed long time before social media existed. While social media existed, it has these groups who oppose vaccine to influence others to do so. Second, the existence of active vaccine group. As it is mentioned earlier, there are 17% of citizens who are skeptical towards vaccine. Some of them thought that vaccine isn't safe. Besides that, there are a group of people which opposite of vaccination. It is usually called as anti-vaccine group. They are a group of people who reject vaccine frontally. Last but not least, they have potential to bring the 17% of citizens become totally disagree toward vaccine with giving negative comment or hate speech on vaccine program with using the help of social media. Third is lack of literacy on science. Lack of education, especially on science, also gives contribution in decreasing of the public trust toward vaccination program. The one who lack of literacy on science is easy to influence by other, rather the one who has the knowledge. Anti-vaccine group could influence those people easily rather than they who have better knowledge at science. And the fourth, lack of trust on government body due to political crisis. Government is the key of a state or a country in running their bureaucracy. Without government, there are lack of power. It means there are no one lead country. In other words, to whom citizens should believe. If they do not believe on the government, by this issue, it has anti-vaccine group bringing other, provoke others, lead others to fight the government and reject the vaccination program. And the last thing is a consideration about halal dan haram and vaccination. Malaysia can be called as a country who dominated by the Muslim. Logically, it can be connected the elements of anti-vaccine groups, since they are dominated by Muslims and some of them are less educated. They easily just claim the pandemic COVID-19 is not real. It is planned by someone for the purpose to eliminate the Muslim. It is supported by the conspiracy, which explains the vaccine is a form of Jewish way to control the number of the Muslim people.
The issues of people not concerned about the vaccinations can give many impacts to the country and also to the individual itself. Okay, I will take COVID-19 vaccinations as examples because the most concerns matter for many peoples around the world nowadays. Okay, first, when they are not concerned about the importance of taking the vaccines, they will keep delay their vaccinations on purpose. This will lead them a failure to get the vaccines in the future. And vaccinations and to some extent helps to strengthen the body immunity. So when they are unable to get the vaccines, they will be at high risk of COVID-19 infections due to their weak immune system body. So they may got infected of COVID-19 as long as they have not yet gotten their vaccinations. When there are many people got infected with COVID-19, when there are many people becomes COVID-19 positive, there will be increases of COVID-19 cases at the country per day. These increases will becomes the threats to the safety for those who are unable to receive the vaccine, which is categorized as people who are not qualified to receive the vaccine yet, such as children and also the cancer patients. Mm, the spread of COVID-19 will force the government to implement the Movement Control Order (MCO), which is likely implemented by many countries around the world, and in order to prevent the spread of COVID-19 at their country. Yes, it is effective to reduce the infections and the spread of COVID-19 cases in the country, but it also can give the bad impacts to the country's economy and also the country income as well. There will be many people got infected in economic. For example, like many businesses, many company need to close their business operations during the MCO, especially on total lockdown. They are unable to generate income, and so disclosure of their business operations during MCO, especially the total lockdown, will cause them to face financial problems and their financial difficulties. The financial problems difficulties cause them to shut down their business and their company forever. Disclosure affect the not only affect the companies not only affect the company but also affect their worker, which is their worker have to lose the job and also income and become unemployed persons. When there are many unemployed person, there will be increases of unemployment rate at the country.
Okay, next I will explain about the encouragement to the people to take the vaccine and the suggestion for the government what should do to encourage people to take the vaccine. I encourage people in this country to take the vaccine as it is very good to boost immunity in ourselves. Avoid to believe anti-psychical groups who try to deceive the people by spreading out unauthentic information to which makes people increasingly anxious to take the vaccine. Social media platform to disseminate information about the vaccine. This is so that people are easy to refer. People can refer the information about the vaccine on social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, and so on. Next, I will explain about the campaign awareness of the vaccine. The vaccine awareness campaign was conducted by the government for people for free. There is no charge of fee for the people who join the campaign. This is for people to lose their doubts about the vaccine and all agreed to take the vaccine. This is why this campaign was carried out. The campaign was made to correct the information as most of the people had been poisoned by the anti-vaccine groups who spread out unauthentic information aimed at intimidating the people.
Based on this discussion, we understand how the elite can manage power in politics and how, in most situations, resistance to the regime does not involve those who oppose the regime. Additionally, the masses are always at a loss when political struggle involves these elites. In fact, the government can change because of this battle was not structural in nature, but merely an exchange of battle between elites and spreading the status quo. The COVID-19 vaccination program started on February 24, but we see that the community's misunderstanding of vaccination is still deep. Anti-vaccines are a threat to health and around the world. It starts from unfounded assumption propagated by individuals who do not want to accept the truth even though it has untold before their eyes. Therefore, we must be vigilant and always ensure that the information received is authentic before disseminating it. In order to regain the people's trust in vaccines, the elite theory must play a good role in order to regain the people's trust in the national vaccination program implemented by the governments. And in the studies, we also found that there are several reasons why some communities does not believe in vaccinations provided by the governments. Therefore, the role of the elite in this regard is very important. Last but not least, we hope that this vaccination program can get all the trust of the people back. That's all from our group. Thank you.